All right, let's take a look at the first few problems in section 7.1 and some kind of general notes on vertex form of a quadratic. So this is the vertex form of a quadratic. I know your notes might say differently, but vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k, where the vertex is at hk. So again, this is vertex form. This is not standard form. Standard form is like the polynomial form. Standard form would be something like this. And this is where we find the vertex as negative b over 2a, and then the function of that value. In other words, plug this into the x, and what do you get as a y value? But honestly, we'll kind of talk about using the calculator. Negative b over 2a, that's easy enough. But students struggle with finding the y value algebraically. We can just use the calculator. So again, in math, when we see standard form, that's the polynomial form. Vertex form will give you the vertex at change the value of what we see because it's a minus sign. So hk for the vertex. A couple other general things to talk about. The graph, how it opens. Up if the function itself is negative or positive. So up if positive, down if negative. And we'll talk about what that actually looks like. Well, let me show you an example of vertex form, because that is the formula, actually. An example of vertex form would be something like negative x plus 1 squared plus 4. So something like negative x plus 1 squared plus 4. We could FOIL out this x plus 1 and combine like terms, but the leading term would be negative. And positive would be, if there were no negative sign, or where the x squared itself is positive. So again, it could be something like this. Negative x squared plus 10x plus 9. That would have a negative x squared, a negative leading term. So the graph would open down. We could have a value for a, something like 3 x plus 1 squared plus 4. We could FOIL this out, distribute the 3, combine like terms, but the leading term, or highest x value, would be positive. So this opens up. So up if positive, down if negative. Every time in this homework section, give you a sneak peek, you're going to be asked to find all of these pieces of information. So next we have the vertex again. Vertex is HK in vertex form, or the negative b over 2a, and then plugging that in, depending on which form you are given your quadratic in. You'll have to find the x-intercepts. That's where you make y equal to 0, solve for x. Of course, for the y-intercepts, make x equal to 0 and solve for y, which is really easy in standard form, in polynomial form. The polynomial form problems are kind of worse because you're going to have to complete the square, but you do get the intercepts easily, at least. You will be asked to sketch, and I want to talk about that a bit. In Alex, you only have to plot the vertex and one other point. Don't click the little pencil tool. Don't plot the vertex as a point. Just pick up the parabola button and follow the steps. First, you plot your vertex, and then it asks you how does it open, up or down. You just click up or down, and then it asks for one other point. But when you test on this will be on paper for the AIM course that I'm making this for. And you need to know that the points mirror each other. Of course, you can get the points from the graphing calculator, but know that every point on a parabola mirrors itself over the axis of symmetry. This is like the easy part of these problems, because the axis of symmetry is just the x value of the vertex. It is always written in the form of x equals a number. Next, you will be asked about a maximum or minimum value. So if we open upwards, we have a minimum. Leave some space here because I'm going to write underneath it 2 when we get to range. But if we have a parabola that opens downwards, we have a maximum value. The way it asks you for first you say whether or not it's a minimum or maximum, and then it asks you for basically the y value of the vertex. Is your max or min? And you'll see when you get to those homework questions. So, I wanted to write right underneath that, but oh well. If we have a minimum, let's talk about the range. If we have a minimum, it is that y value going towards infinity. Let me move the camera down. So this right here is the y value of your vertex. And that's if we have a parabola with a minimum. Bracket because it's an included value, and then it will go up to infinity. The other range you will see, or that you will be typing, is from negative infinity and stopping at the y value of the maximum. So like this. And again, this right here, that is the y value of the vertex. So if we have a maximum, it opens downwards. The range is negative infinity to this y value. If the graph opens upwards, the range is that y value to infinity, the y value of the vertex. And then domain, for every parabola, is negative infinity to positive infinity, always. Because of the arrows going out at angles, it will always go out towards infinity along the x-axis. So let's look at two examples. Oh boy, this is harder than it should be. Here we go. Number one. So again, I wrote this out because these are the 8 things you are asked to find for each parabola. Does it open up or down? What is the vertex? What are the x-intercepts? What is the y-intercept? Sketch the graph, axis of symmetry. Do you have a minimum or maximum? And what is that value? And then finally, domain and range. So, I need a new page. I got these from the homework. Number 1. G of x equals negative x plus 1 squared plus 4. Let me move the camera. That's better. So, we need these things. So, first, does it open up or down? This negative means we open down, again, because it is negative. We'll put some kind of notes out to the side next to our answer. Again, we could FOIL this, distribute the negative, combine like terms, but we need to just kind of focus on what would the leading term look like. And it would be a negative x squared. So because of that, we open downwards. This is in vertex form. So HK, again, the formula, I think I wrote the formula on the previous page. a times x minus h squared plus k. The a, if it's a whole number, will make the graph taller or skinnier or stretch it vertically. But the vertex is found at hk. So it's minus h. So the vertex is at -1. And then just the k value that we see. So -1, 4. For the x-intercept, we set y equal to 0. Again, the whatever letter you see here, this changes for each question. But the function, change that to 0. That's the same as y. X plus 1 squared plus 4. And here we can use the square root method. Get the -4 over here. So I subtract 4 from both sides. Think about it like this, that we have a -1 in front of the binomial, and we can divide that out. So that becomes a +4 equals x plus 1 squared. So we take the square root of both sides with a positive or negative over here. So we get 2 plus or minus 2 equals x plus 1. From here, I would just make this 2 little equations. X plus 1 equals +2, and x plus 1 equals -2. Solve for x, subtract 1, so that x equals 1. Subtract 1 from both sides, so that x equals -3. So again, set y equal to 0, move the pieces around. Here we had a negative sign, so I like to just divide it out. And those are the two x-intercepts. X equals 1 and x equals -3. For the y-intercept, we will change g of x to y, and then plug in 0 for x, because d is the y-intercept. So negative, and then this is 1 squared, just becomes 1, plus 4, gives us 3 for the y-intercept. You enter these as ordered pairs. Now sketch the graph. I can at least put it in the calculator and we can talk about it. Again, in ALEKS, you don't click the pencil tool. No pencil. Just click the parabola button and do it that way. So I'm going to put this in the calculator. I'm going to hit graph. I sure hope my intercepts are right. -3, 1, and 3 for the y-intercept. Looks about right. So that's what the sketch looks like. Again, you would plot the vertex. Our vertex is at -1, 4. So you would plot the vertex and then one other point. Probably the y-intercept is the point you would plot. And then that's it. It kind of graphs it for you. But as you plot this by hand, make sure you have the vertex. Maybe go to the table and get a couple of points to plot. Make sure it makes a U shape. And that will be your sketch. Here's F. F is the axis of symmetry. Again, that's pretty easy because axis of symmetry is just the x value of the vertex. And the vertex is at -1, 4. So it's x equals -1. G, is there a max or min? Since we open downwards, there is a maximum. So we have a maximum, and then it asks you for the value, which again is the y value of the vertex. The way it asks it is something like for the function f, where f is negative x plus 1 squared plus 4, what is the maximum of f? It's just the y value. And I think you just type it. You just type the number. It asked it in kind of a weird way. Finally, domain is always negative to positive infinity. We open downwards. Don't get the range wrong. Students always get the range wrong. We go from negative infinity up to a maximum value of 4 with a bracket. So there you have it. I think I'll stop there, but let me know if you have any questions.